Hello, everyone, and welcome to Reaching New Heights in Cladding. My name is Andy, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. We greatly appreciate you taking time to join us. Today, we are excited to show you a solution that Alside has brought to the market, which can help to solve many of the challenges facing your business today. We'll introduce you to an innovative cladding solution designed to provide the best value on the market for both you and your customers. Today's speakers are Sean Hardy and Nick Thompson. Sean leads product management and marketing for Alside. He has spent nearly 15 years in the building materials industry, leading strategy, growth, and improved profitability through various product development efforts, marketing programs, and innovation. Nick Thompson is the senior product manager for Alside with over 20 years in the building products industry, focusing on field installation, technical sales, and product management. And as mentioned before, my name is Andy, Director of Training for Alside, with over 14 years of industry experience serving both the retail and wholesale markets. Today's webinar is being brought to you by Alside, a division of Associated Materials, who is a North American manufacturer and distributor of exterior building products with a strong presence across the United States and Canada. We have some key topics to cover with you today. We'll look at some challenges facing your business and how current cladding installation and materials help to compound those challenges. Where we saw an opportunity to help by improving that experience for you and your customers through a new and innovative solution, Ascend Composite Cladding. Then we'll open it up for Q&A, so please submit your questions and we'll have time at the end of the webinar to go through and answer all of your questions, time providing. But before we get into the meat of today's presentation, so please take a moment to complete the poll shown on your screen. Which of these is the top challenge facing your business today? You can pick more than one. All right, Sean, so what do you think? Is this what you thought you might see?
Yeah, Andy, unfortunately, we hear these sorts of challenges time and time and again. What you guys just answered is really reflective of some of the market surveys that we monitor and try to keep in tune with the market, whether they're from the NAHB or qualified remodeler. These are the same things that continue to come up, and honestly, perennially, they are at the top of the list year after year. I think the current situation of COVID-19 and some of those things going on and all the challenges that has created has really added to the problem, honestly. I know people are behind and having shortage of labor. It's resulted in all sorts of supply chain disruptions and price increases and all sorts of issues that have just added and compounded the other problems and challenges that are out there. Just to rattle off a few statistics, new construction is hot. Land development is either hot or on fire in over 60% of markets. Home improvement, Home Depot reported a 23% rise in their Q2 revenues year over year. The building materials is very hot market right now, despite some of the COVID-19 challenges, and it's really putting further stress on some of the challenges that we face every day, even pre-COVID. So with that in mind, as we started to think about how might Alside help alleviate some of these challenges even before COVID-19 came into effect, one of the things that we know everyone out there has much bigger and larger, broader concerns than cladding, but we thought, at least in some of the areas that we can control, what are some things that we can do to help alleviate some of these challenges? And if we could do that, that we'd be onto something that was beneficial for everyone in the channel. So let me just start with some of the demands that are out there from a homeowner standpoint. Homeowners are really, over the last 5 to 10 years have really increased their expectations around homes, and they're demanding an on-trend, authentic aesthetic. And that when that comes to cladding, if they're trying to replicate real wood, That means tall profiles. That means flat face designs and rich dark colors. And so when we think about that and what's on the market, these products that are out there, they come with a lot of challenges, and especially for those in the trade. You know, they might look pretty good once they're up on the home, but whether you're a home builder or remodeler, products like fiber cement, engineered wood, and some composite products that are out there on the market, they have a lot of challenges. First of all, they have a high total installed cost, and we'll kind of talk about what we mean by that, but not just the material, but the labor component and the rest of the system. These are high price point items and require a lot of labor and a lot of days on the job to get done. They all, for the most part, come with recurring cost of ongoing maintenance for the homeowner. And there are just other disadvantages around equipment needed and the number of steps required to properly install these products. So when I joined Associated Materials and really started working on the Alside business about 5 years ago, I spent some time with Nick really learning the market. We mentioned I've been in the building materials industry for a while, but prior to joining Alside, my experience was more inside the home from a product perspective. So I had a lot to learn about the exterior beyond what I might have learned over the years just as a homeowner. And one of the things that we dialed into pretty quickly in looking at the trends in the cladding market was this shift away from vinyl and real wood to two primary products, fiber cement and engineered wood. And to be honest, I really wasn't familiar with those products 5 years ago. And I started asking Nick a lot of questions about what's helped fuel this growth. How can engineered wood and fiber cement be as big as the vinyl market in terms of squares sold into the market on an annual basis? And what was kind of driving these trends? And really, the essence of the conversation was that these two products were doing a better job of looking like real wood than vinyl was. And that aesthetic and that desire from the homeowner and home values was so strong that the trade was then forced to deal with all the trade-offs that came with it. And as I started learning about those trade-offs in terms of weight, number of steps, moisture absorption, all of these different trade-offs that people were having to deal with, I just kept thinking, man, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better solution than this. And we got to be able to create that look and have homeowners get what they want, but unburden the trade in many ways. So we started thinking about how could we develop an alternative here, and at the same time wanted to not only make a great product, but as the webinar title states, make a solution here that also helped address some of the overall industry challenges. And if we could make a better product and lighten the load of some of our trade partners, that would be a really great accomplishment. And I put that market chart up there to also show you that we started with the market in mind. This isn't an innovative product that was developed in a lab by some people in white coats. Nick and I sat down and spent a lot of time coming up with what should this solution look like and what should it be. And we wrote out what that should be, and then we took that to our development and R&D teams and said, hey, we're really onto something here. We need to figure out a way to accomplish this. So if I summarize kind of what Nick and I wrote down, there are really 2 bullets, and they're fairly dense bullets, but we simplified it into 2 bullets. And as we developed these during the development process, whenever we got to a fork in the road, we brought this sheet back out and said, here's what we said we were doing from the beginning. And kind of continuing on to what I was saying about the market trends, we felt we'd really be onto something if we could deliver the look and performance of those products that were growing so well, but make them easy to install, keep them maintenance free, and have a non-moisture absorbing solution. And if we could do that, we'd really be onto something from a product feature and benefit performance standpoint. So on this next chart here, we're graphically showing what that means. You know, fiber cement and engineered wood, they did a much better job of, as like I was previously saying, of looking like real wood. And that's what primarily drove their growth despite some of these challenges to overcome. And what I mean by that is that they had tall profiles, more like real cedar or real wood. They had flat faces. They had a nice wood grain look to them. They felt solid on the wall. But then you know, as I was discussing with Nick, we talked a lot about, well, what makes vinyl number one? And there were a lot of reasons behind that. It comes with a lifetime warranty. There's no moisture issues. It's no ongoing cost for the homeowner from a maintenance standpoint. Whereas a fiber cement or engineered wood, you're going to end up, you know, putting a fresh coat of paint on that every, you know, 6 to 10 years, depending on what color you go with. From an ease of use standpoint, you know, lightweight, few steps, no sealing, touch-up painting, joint flashing, caulking, none of that's required in the vinyl world. So when we sat down to make Ascend, we thought like, wow, why should we have to choose? Why can't we come up with something that's really, truly the best of both worlds? You get all the aesthetic and feel and performance benefits, yet you make it easy to install and easy to handle without maintenance. And that's really what we've done here with Ascend. And I think it's something that's never been done before. You've always had to make this choice in the past. And that's why we're so excited about this as a solution for the market. So all that's good, but ultimately it had to be done in a way that was going to generate value. And what we landed on was that we had to create this solution in a way that the total installed cost versus fiber cement and engineered wood was at least 10% lower or more. And there was just no point in making a product that was too expensive from that standpoint. So this was the other key cornerstone to the goal here. It had to deliver all the look and performance, but it also had to do it in a way that provided value to everyone along the chain. And that's where we get into this total installed cost. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's a graphical representation this is a simplified version, but the cost of the material alone is just one piece of the puzzle here. The cladding material is less than 50% of the total installed cost, so it probably doesn't make sense to only consider that. We had to look at the full spectrum, and that includes other things like the labor. And inside that labor bucket, you have, you know, the number of people required and the crew. How many days does it take that crew to get it done? And what is the rate of those laborers? All those things are going into the cladding labor. Then you get into the trim side. There are a lot of trim material costs. I mean, these can range anywhere from 10 to 40% of the total installed cost of the trim between material and labor. Obviously, you have the material in whether those are corner posts, skirt boards, door surrounds, rake boards up in gables, transition boards. But then all the labor that goes into that. And when you're using fiber cement or engineered wood, for example, and you want to go around every window, you have to measure every window. You have to cut the trim to length, and you have to be good. And maybe it's a miter cut. You have to flash behind it. You have to caulk the cladding to that trim. It's a lot of steps, along with just some other costs, whether that's scrap from brittle panels or carrying it the wrong way. If you're using a primed product, the cost of painting it, the material and the labor to do that, you know, all the caulk that's required, touch-up kits, all of these things are contributing to this total installed cost. And we were targeting that total installed cost is what matters to either a homeowner or ultimately a home builder. And when we thought about that total installed cost, we felt we needed to bring a double-digit savings. And that was the goal with Ascend from the beginning. Those things are all what I would call hard costs. These are things on a material list or what you might might be the result of a takeoff. But then there are a lot of soft costs as well. The cost of going and doing a callback or running down a punch list, sending someone out to touch up nail heads or chips of the post-production finish on some of these other products. Any special PPE, whether they're respirators or other sort of PPE, when you're using saws, for example, a lot of the recommendations are that you use a vacuum-powered saw to cut fiber cement. You probably need a special blade, diamond-tipped blade on that saw, and those things all add up. And these costs are being bared by someone in the market. And it's usually the applicator, usually the installer, and then those costs get passed on in the terms of a markup to either, again, the homeowner or the home builder. And so all these costs are real. Some are more quantifiable than others on a per square basis or total home basis, but there is a lot to this. And we really felt if we could get a lower total installed cost, we would really be onto something. So let me talk a little bit about the Ascend product and how we're checking all these boxes and creating this lower total installed cost. So here's a picture of what the Ascend plank looks like. From an aesthetics standpoint, we do have a 7-inch flat face and a cedar mill grain on there, again, to look more like real wood. It's available in 20 low gloss and low maintenance colors. It's a pretty on-trend portfolio. We'll show you those colors here coming up. But again, looking like real wood and overcoming that maintenance issue, big plus for a homeowner. And then on the same vein here, a sharp butt edge that really provides a nice shadow line and keeps the product looking authentic and high end. From a performance standpoint, lots to talk about here. I'll start with just at the top, wind load performance. This is rated up to 180 miles per hour from a wind performance standpoint. It also brings with it an R2 from a insulation performance, thermal performance value. And the way we've been able to achieve really this product and its performance is through a proprietary technology that we're calling GP squared technology. And Nick's going to talk through that in more detail. But for right now, in this stage of the presentation, what that contributes to is this product carrying with it a Class A fire rating for both flame spread and smoke developed, and a lower overall expansion rate that allows us to do some things with the product as it's on the wall, which is very beneficial. So these performance benefits really are on par or exceeding in some cases in terms of the insulation value, for example, what's out there already at this type of price point in the market. When it comes to installation, obviously the total installed cost, we talked about that quite a bit. So these things are very important. I'm going to start off with the stack lock here. This is the way the product nests together, provides for a couple things. First of all, gravity holds it in place before it's fastened on the wall. And so you get a very consistent exposure up the wall no matter what. That also contributes this stack lock, and as gravity based, allows really one person to install this product, even up on a second floor on a walk plank. Again, allowing for that lower labor cost. You need fewer people on the job thanks to some of these things on here. The forgiving hang, this product does hang on the wall. It's not hard nailed, and therefore you can overcome some wall imperfections, minor ones that are out there. And one of the other key points here, we really felt strongly that this had to have no more than a 3/4 projection so that it remained compatible with really standard construction practices, whether that's 5/4, 4/4 board or trim, or the ability that this product can go right into a channel on any accessory, including a window. So if you think about an integral J window, very popular in the new construction market and therefore ultimately the remodel market, Ascend is compatible with any integral J window, and therefore that provides a huge labor and material reduction possibility around the trim package. Think about all that window trim you could potentially eliminate, and not only the material cost, but the labor cost to put that on. All of this leads to a lower skill level required, makes it faster to install. Like I said, you can take away some of the system material in that, and that's less steps, less people. All of those things are contributing really to this lower total installed cost. So let me just here on this demonstrate kind of how do I translate that? And I put in here just some dollar signs as a graphical representation of what this might mean. We'll talk at the end of how you can reach out and fill these dollar signs in with some real numbers for your market in your application. So in essence, though, this is a breakdown of comparing, the four major buckets here of cladding types, comparing, the different components of the total installed cost. And so at the top, we have the hard costs again, and this is really relatively speaking. So you'll see for the vinyl line, everything's a single dollar sign. And when you get down to the total installed cost, it adds up to $2 signs, okay? Fiber cement and engineered wood are more expensive than vinyl, but they also come with a drastic increase in the labor. There are trim material and trim labor components that are large also, as well as other costs. And so you end up with a $5 sign total installed cost out to the right. With the send, the cladding material is a little bit more than the pre-finished fiber cement and engineered wood, but the labor savings relative to those products is big. And as we'll talk about here in a minute, you have flexibility from a trim standpoint too, that contribute to a lower total installed cost. All that adds up to that 10% savings. And so you'll see out to the right, we've got $4 signs for a send. The soft costs here at the bottom, you can see touch-ups, respirators, vacuum saws, diamond blades. A lot of those are yes for fiber cement. Some of that is there in these other products as well. But this is a graphical demonstration of how that total installed cost works. I mentioned the on-trend maintenance-free low-gloss colors previously. These are the 20 colors that Ascend is available in. Very on-trend palette here. You'll see, lots of options in the blues and grays and browns, with a couple greens and a red, just to kind of round out the portfolio along with white. Again, these are fade resistant and maintenance free. As far as the trim goes, it's compatible really with any trim that has a channel that allows to receive the product. So what that means is it really provides either a remodeler or home builder the opportunity to have different price points for the same cladding. Here, this example here we have, thick window surrounds on here. We have a transition board. We have a skirt board. There's lots of trim on the dormers. You could go down that route, or you could go with a simpler trim package, and therefore it gives you the flexibility to hit multiple price points with the same cladding. It's really compatible with any channel trim. So great, Sean, show us what this looks like on some real homes. I want to share here some examples of new construction, and then we'll show a few remodel samples here coming up. But here's an example of a home in the Mid-Atlantic region. This is our Riviera Dusk color, really dark blue. Really nice. You can see how well it looks on the home and how it's coordinated for a really high-end look and a really high home value. White and black has been very popular. I'm sure you guys have all seen that and been involved in jobs that required that. Here's Ascend in white with some black windows. Very popular choice these days. Here's kind of a close-up of the back of the home. And this features some wide casing black trim that we offer on some of our window products. A really nice clean look for that farmhouse style. Here's another new construction look. This is one of our grays, ageless slate. And here are a couple remodel applications. So this is a remodel home here. You'll notice that you don't really see any joints going down the side of this home. They are there. but we've engineered this in a way with some of the GP squared technology that provides the ability to hide some of the joints. And so it provides a really nice, clean look that we're pretty excited about and think homeowners will love as well. Here's another remodel example, again, with very minimal visibility on the joints. And what we like about it is that we have put this product into extensive thermal cycling to know that it's going to continue to look like this for years to come. Fiber cement and engineered wood, at times they might look good when the home construction is complete. Then over time, as that home settles, those joints might not look as good. They'll probably never look as good as they did on the first day. Here's an in-progress example of using an integral J window and how Ascend just slides right into there. Again, think of less skill required. You don't have to be as precise on your cut, less trim work, less time, lower labor costs, all again contributing to that total installed cost being lower. So we'll do some before and afters on the remodel side here coming up, but it's not just good looking, it really outperforms. And I'm gonna turn it over to Nick Thompson to kind of talk us through some of the technology and some of the performance that we've been able to achieve with this product.
Thank you, Sean. Expanding on the aesthetic and performance benefits that you mentioned, this graphic shows the additives we use to achieve those benefits. Our technology, as you mentioned, is GP squared. GP coming from glass polymer and graphite polystyrene. Let's talk about strength, impact, thermal, fire, and weathering of Ascend. Starting with our composite glass reinforced polymer, the glass fibers equal strength and rigidity and reduce the amount or rate of expansion contraction compared to some polymer-based claddings that are on the market. So what does that mean to you? Strength will span uneven areas on a wall, and a lower expansion rate results in a more stable product on the wall as it performs during seasonal changes, combats waviness during that expansion and contraction movement, and deals with settling that can occur on new construction homes. The strength also comes through in our wind resistance, designed with a stack lock and reinforced nail hem. Therefore, Ascend meets all wind speed zones in the US, with the exception of HVHZ, the hurricane zone in the southernmost part of Florida. Ascend has been engineered to balance the glass and rigidity benefit with impact resistance. We use impact modifiers to resist dents, and that provides solid workability at the job site. That workability is really important for our installers when they're carrying multiple planks, when they're cutting Ascend with, could be a utility knife, snips, circular saw, chop saw, all common tools. And then also when transferring planks from the ground, cut man to the installer on a second-story walkboard. So the impact modifiers are important in both lab performance to pass impact test, as well as real-world job site. The graphite polystyrene, that provides rigidity as well and a solid feel if you were pushing the plank against the wall. The thermal benefit of the graphite polystyrene, that's an R2. Since the graphite polystyrene is not encapsulated within a wall, we test it as installed, meaning the R2 result accounts for air infiltration. That R2 can contribute to the thermal requirement of a wall assembly if you're following a prescriptive path of a building code, and as part of an exterior envelope of products meeting performance path modeling and HERS ratings. Those HERS ratings achieved through blower door tests. When it comes to fire, flame retardants achieving a Class A fire rating, really important to us when it came to bidding multifamily and high density single family new construction where you have narrow separation distance between the homes and the property lot lines. In addition to the Class A fire rating, we have compliance reports approving Ascend for installation on wall assemblies where they require 1 and 2 hour fire ratings. Also, weathering, talking about the sun and water. Weatherable pigments, titanium dioxide, reflect the UV rays, resisting fading on our darkest high heat build colors that we offer. And Ascend is non-moisture absorbing And since it's not hard fastened to the wall, it will not trap water between the backside of the plank and the wall. So combining all these ideas and improvements in technology, it resulted in 2 utility patents for how the Ascend plank works. These performance additives and testing that we've talked about allowed us to support Ascend with a best-in-class warranty. In this chart right here, we're comparing Ascend's lifetime warranty to a fiber cement warranty. And the key elements and questions you can ask when it comes to a warranty are: what's the material coverage? What is the fade, weathering, finish coverage? And are there prorations? Ascend is covered against material defects and fade for the lifetime of the warranty. Ascend does not prorate material and labor if there is a material or fade defect, and you receive 100% coverage for material and labor. That's a significant advantage compared to fiber cement, where proration begins in the 2nd year of the warranty, and by year 10, your material only reimbursement is less than 40%. Based on our fade testing, the measure of color change we cover is above what competitive painted fiber cement and engineered wood products warrant. Our color is extruded, not painted, therefore color retention of Ascend does not require the future costs that are associated with repainting. The warranty, it also includes hail protection, and it is transferable once to the next homeowner with a coverage of 50 years from the original install date. So we have aesthetic and performance benefits, a strong warranty, and then out on the job site, we have a simple installation based on Ascend being lighter, easier, faster to install. Starting with the product weight, Ascend weighs 45 pounds per 1 square or 100 square feet of coverage on the wall, and is approximately 75% lighter than fiber cement. So think about when the materials dropped out at the job site, moving it around at different elevations is easier, less time and effort for the crew. One person can cut on the ground, hand off to the installer for a 1-person install, even on the 2nd story walkboard. We say it's easier to install because you're installing a plank. With Ascend, you're not installing joint flashing, H-mold, or caulking at the overlaps. You're not going to have to seal edges, and touch-up paint is not needed. The techniques and tools used to install Ascend are common. As I mentioned earlier, you can use a utility knife, snips, circular saw, chop saw. And we recommend building code requirements to create a flat, level, water-resistant substrate, but you'll see within our install guide that there are fewer flashing and clearance requirements, which reduces water liability concerns. It's faster due to less trim, the speed of installing the planks, less specialty tools and equipment. With the stack lock design, it's a true stack lock and leave. So the course lines are going to stay true. They're going to line up from elevation to elevation once you get the starter strip level for course 1. To support our crews out in the field, the resources that we have are a comprehensive 16-page installation guide that's going to cover siding and accessories. It is available in English and Spanish. And then we also have a quick start guide that is packaged in every carton of Ascend. Would also like to note there are no regional restrictions or requirements for the install of Ascend. The use of our common tools we've mentioned, common install methods are compatible over various sheathings. It could be a structural sheathing such as OSB and a non-structural such as foam. And finally, important, great feedback that we've received from the installation crews is that Ascend installs twice as fast, meaning increased productivity and profitability for crews.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Really appreciate you walking us through that. So Sean, you've been getting some feedback from customers who have had experience in using and installing Ascend, also some homeowners who have also put this on their home. What are they saying about Ascend?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very positive feedback. I think what Nick just touched on there, that it installs twice as fast, what we've heard from a lot of people is starting to think about what that could mean for their business. You know, when you have constrained labor and challenges around labor, think about that. This is what the top answer from earlier. You could complete more jobs with the same labor pool. That is huge for a business out there, especially on the remodeling side, and even so on the home builder side. That could be extremely valuable to a business to be able to complete more jobs with the same labor force, given that's a constraint on most people's businesses. But here's some testimonials we wanted to share relative to some customers and some actual feedback we've gotten from them. First one here at the top is talking about really the feedback from an installer perspective. It's a more cost-effective price tag, maintenance-free, and energy efficiency. Really just validating a lot of the things that we mentioned earlier. So it's great to get that feedback and hear that from real people out there trying to run their business and make a living doing that. It was I mentioned earlier relative to the wind performance. Coincidentally, we had an Ascend job completed in the Iowa market. Some of you may have heard about the unprecedented storm, the derecho, that went through Iowa and just wreaked havoc on a lot of homes. Ascend was installed prior to that storm and is still looking great after that storm. These were well over 100-mile-per-hour winds. So it's really nice to get some of that real world performance validated thanks to Mother Nature. And then the last one here, really touching on the warranty and how that is extremely valuable from a peace of mind standpoint. And my total installed cost is really from the trade view. I didn't really touch on dollarizing the cost to a homeowner that uses a product on their home that needs painted, right? I mean, depending on what color, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years, you've got a large paint bill, whether you want to do it yourself or hire someone to paint the exterior of your house. With some of these products that are on the market, you are signing up for that as a homeowner, whether you're remodeling or buying a home with that product. That can't be really ignored. And I think that's a possible selling point for you guys as you take this to your customers. But ultimately, this helps validate that this is a better product at a better price for today and in the future. And so I want to show you a couple before and afters here. These are remodel jobs, obviously, but I think it really demonstrates what this product can mean for a homeowner. And when homeowners can see the proof in this pudding, I think it makes your guys' job a lot easier. So here's the first one. This is a stucco finished home. Here's the before. And then here it is after. You can see complete transformation, bringing this home on trend, metal roof. But look how beautiful that Ascend looks in that nice on trend dark blue color. Makes it look like a new construction home.
Sean, that looks like a new home at the same address.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've heard from a lot of people, that they just can't believe the transformation that Ascend can help on their homes. Here's another. We'll look at another one here. This is there. Think about how many homes are out there that look like this. They have a 4-inch tan or clay vinyl siding on them. And think about this house. Put this in your mind, and then go to the next slide. And look at that home, and think about the value of that home versus the value of that prior home. And here's another example. Entire neighborhood probably looks like this. Here's kind of another vinyl job replaced with Ascend. And again, different home at the same address. Look at that. Think about the value of that home versus the prior picture. Amazing. So also wanted to touch on the fact that we have been recognized in the industry from some leading publications. And we honestly expect this list to continue to build. But we've received two awards already for this product being an innovative solution. The first one being the Golden Hammer Award from the Hardware and Building Supply publication. Second one being an Innovation Award from Home Builder Executive. We've also seen the product featured in several stories written up in articles from LBM Journal to Builder Magazine to JLC, all sorts of different publications picking up Ascend and recognizing what it can mean for the market. So we've tried to cover a lot in this session today, but there's lots more, as you might imagine, to learn. You can go out to ascendcompositecladding.com. Kind of a long one, but ascendcompositecladding.com. The story of the product is out there, the features and benefits, but it also is a great place to tap into other resources that are out there, whether those are installation guides that Nick covered, technical information if you need to get in front of an architect or anything like that. There are other tools for homeowners, whether videos, a visualizer that we have out there, so you can put Ascend on your own home and see what that's going to look like prior to pulling the trigger. There are also brochures and other marketing materials out there that you can have access to, download, send to your customers. There are definitely some homeowner tools out there to tap into as you start to think about this being something that may fit into your business. But ascendcompositecladding.com is really the place to go to learn more and get access to some of the tools. So really, in summary, there are a lot of challenges out there that we're faced with every day as an industry, whether they're high total installed cost, long and cumbersome installation processes, the amount of labor required, and really ongoing maintenance and upkeep costs for homeowners. Ascend has attempted to alleviate all of those in that it does produce a lower total installed cost. It has a quick and simple installation and the productivity that can come out of that. It requires fewer laborers and the jobs can get done more quickly. And it is a maintenance-free product accompanied by its best-in-class warranty for the homeowner. So ultimately, this innovative solution, and that's why we think that word is so important. We do think it is a solution for some of your troubles to help you decrease costs, increase productivity and profitability, and ultimately grow your business. And that's what everyone's pretty much out there trying to do as far as I am concerned. So really, again, in summary, this meets the market need with a better product that also creates a lot of value for your business.
Awesome, Sean. Great presentation. Nick and Sean, thank you so much for walking us through the Ascend Composite Cladding product. If you do want to learn more, you can go to ascendcompositecladding.com, or you can send us an email at ascend@alside.com, where we will be looking forward to hearing from you, and we can take this conversation offline, one-on-one, and answer all of your questions and talk more in detail about the Ascend Composite Cladding product. So again, thank you for your time and watching this video, and we look forward to talking to you again here very soon.